In the news this week, the ADF calls for new election campaign rules after Andrew Hastie's dismissal from the military.
Plus an exclusive report into the challenges faced every day by City Council rangers.
And Bernie Sanders refused to quit as Hillary Clinton consolidates as presidential candidate.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Lung and Daniel Staniskov.
Good evening. Liberal MPs have reacted towards the Defence Force decision to dismiss Canning MP Andrew Hastie from the Army Reserves after he refused to remove a photo of himself in a military uniform from election campaign materials. Nelson Liu has the summary.
Federal WA MP Andrew Hastie used his strong family and military background to shore up support in last year's Canning by-election. But now Mr Hastie's representation of himself as a soldier in that election has soured his relationship with the Army. Mr Hastie was sacked from the Army's reserve unit this week after he didn't remove a photo of himself in uniform used in his election campaign advertising against Australian Defence Force regulations, helping the military stay neutral to politics. The ADF is unhappy with his refusal to remove the image from a billboard in WA, but Mr Hastie is defiant about his decision to keep using and identifying his background with the image, and so are his supporters.
Part of his history, his character, his background is, of course, his role with the military, particularly SAS. And politicians need to convey in pictorial manner the background.
I think they've lost a good man, to be perfectly honest. He's an outstanding individual. I'm really surprised they took that course of action.
The Defence Department will push for the next federal government to consider changes to the Electoral Act to prohibit inappropriate use of ADF uniforms in future election campaign advertising. Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
In other news, the job of City Council rangers might look easy, but in reality the position is filled with challenges. It's not often we get an inside look into their day-to-day duties, but this week we were given exclusive access into Cockburn City Council's Ranger Unit and the opportunity to uncover the trials they face each day. Eunice Lau reports.
There's a lot more to being a ranger than issuing parking tickets. City of Cockburn Ranger Kylie begins her day by patrolling beaches and parks. In the park, she finds 2 dogs on the loose without an owner inside. After driving to the owner's house, she issues a warning.
As I approached the property, it went to bite me on the foot, and those dogs wandering on the streets would be a concern if they're unattended and not on a leash.
Part of Kylie's role involves cleaning the pound and feeding the dogs. Rangers enforce local laws dealing with a wide range of matters, including animals, littering, bushfire management, patrols, CCTV monitoring, and off-road vehicles. They continue their work rain, hail or shine.
With the diversity of local government in this day and age, there's a lot of things that are required to be done. Everything falls to the rangers because they're the solution for a lot of the problems.
Council rangers have a diverse role in protecting the community. Unfortunately, not all members of the public appreciate the work that rangers do.
And our officers have been threatened plenty of times, unfortunately. They're there just to do the job.
I do think that a lot of people don't realise what we do and how much behind the scenes work we do.
Therefore, it's important for rangers to have certain attributes and local law knowledge.
You have to learn a lot about people and their attitudes, and you also learn a lot about yourself.
Despite the challenges, Kylie still loves her job. Eunice Lau, WAMN News.
A woman has been indecently assaulted by an alleged thief in the eastern suburb of Cannington. The 25-year-old female victim was walking along the footpath on Railway Parade just after midnight on the 9th of June. She was hit by a male cyclist over the head with an unknown object before inappropriately touching her. After she stood up, the victim realised her handbag was missing. She was taken to Royal Perth Hospital and the property was found a short distance from the scene.
I mean, it was an innocent victim walking down the street, quite a cowardly attack. And as I mentioned before, we're looking for any witnesses who can contact Crime Stoppers with any information.
Students across Western Australian primary schools are set to get tech savvy following the introduction of new funding to purchase new computers and mobile devices for the classroom. 572 schools will be able to purchase new tablets, laptops and desktop computers with funds under the state government's $20 million primary device program to improve computer literacy. Schools will be able to purchase this technology along with accessories such as charging stations, trolleys, power boards and monitors.
United States President Barack Obama has officially endorsed Hillary Clinton as the Democratic Party's official candidate for the presidential election. Mr. Obama says she is the most qualified for the White House, while Mrs. Clinton says the endorsement means the world to her. If she succeeds, Mrs. Clinton will be the United States' first female president. Meanwhile, Bernie Sanders has refused to drop out of the race after a meeting with Mr. Obama at the White House. Donald Trump has also shocked the world by becoming the Republican Party's presumptive presidential candidate.
Thousands have attended the Muslim funeral of legendary boxer Muhammad Ali. Patrons at the funeral repeatedly honoured Ali as a people's champion for his popularity as a three-time heavyweight boxing champion and for his political activism and devotion of humanitarian issues. He was forced to give up more than 3 years of his boxing career after refusing to serve in the military during the Vietnam War. Muhammad Ali passed away last Friday. He was 74 years old.
And finally tonight, Lottery West has granted almost $150,000 worth of funding to Western Australia's rich Sikh history during a presentation at the city of Canning. The funding will be allocated to install interpretive panels along the Riverton Trail. Sikh people first settled in Western Australia in 1886, where the majority of them were hawkers, storekeepers, farmers and wrestlers.
What we have found out in our research that the contribution of Sikhs in development of WA, especially at the moment because we are just covering WA, has been at least 150 years old.
And those are the top stories you need to know this week. We have the latest news on our website and Facebook.
Thanks for your company. We look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Have a good one.
Bye.